Welcome back to Old School Sports and our Out of the Park Baseball 26 series, Rescue the Rockies. And we are at the 2031 All-Star break. The first half plus of the season has gone very well for the Rockies. 99 games into the year, we are 61-38. 2.5 game lead on the Dodgers for the National League West division title. 2.5 game lead on the Dodgers for the best record in the National League, and 2.5 game lead on the Dodgers for the best record in all of baseball. So clearly our goal over these last 2+ months of the season is going to be to hold on to that divisional lead that we have and hopefully end up clinching home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Last episode, our primary focus was the draft. Appreciate all of the scouting reports prior to the draft and the feedback post-draft. Many of you were surprised that I ended up going with the college pitcher, Mr. Stoops, over the high school pitcher, Mr. Stream, with our first-round draft pick. As I noted in the last episode, am a little surprised by that too. I intended to pick Stream when the episode began after the work I had done offline and considering the feedback from the Worldwide Scouting Department. Even probably 5 minutes before I made the decision during the episode to pivot to Mr. Stoops, still thought I was going to go with Stream. So we have put Mr. Stream on the list of prospects to track over time. Mr. Stoops did get signed just a couple of days ago, and he has already made his first start in Single A. Only went 2 1/3 innings, so they're definitely stretching him out, but only allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, struck out 2. Obviously, a lot of work to be done for Mr. Stoops, but hopefully he will develop the way we hope over time. Also got a good question from Dustin Durbin on our old friend Chandler Simpson, who we traded away last offseason and who isn't showing up on the leaderboard for steals for the Milwaukee Brewers after leading the league in stolen bases all 4 years that he was with us and the season before with the Texas Rangers. So Mr. Simpson still has really good speed, and he's actually been healthy. He's played in 91 games, 318 at-bats, hitting .252. But apparently the Brewers just are not particularly aggressive. He's had a good success rate, 18 out of 21 stolen bases, but definitely has not been as proficient on the base paths and as active on the base paths with Milwaukee as he was the 4 years he was with us in Colorado, and even the year before we picked him up when he was with Texas. But still an everyday player and still struggling to keep his on-base percentage over 300, which at times was our frustration with him, but he was certainly an incredibly proficient base runner over the 4 years that he was with us. But with the depth that we have in the outfield now with younger, cheaper talent, obviously we made the decision to trade Simpson away last offseason. So figured we would check in on him for Dustin Durbin, and I know that Undercover Boomer and some others have been big fans of Mr. Simpson over the years. One last thing to check in on before we start moving forward with this episode. Peter Hooper noted the crazy ratings splits that we talked about when we did our midseason review for Ryan Stone. Nothing special, and not actually that good against left-handed pitching, but a borderline silver slugger type profile against right-handed pitching. He's having an outstanding year for us overall with a .309 batting average, 18 homers, 61 ribbies, and a 142 WRC+. 2.5 WAR, playing primarily first base, although he could conceivably be moving into an outfield role over time where we think he could be somewhat more proficient. But the stats and the splits are perhaps even more stark than I would have anticipated. Absolute monster against right-handed pitching. 310 at-bats on the year. He's hitting 319 with an OPS of close to 1,000 and a 154 WRC+. So that is why we are platooning him and playing him primarily against right-handed pitching. Does have a very small sample size of 30 at-bats against left-handed pitching, and as you might expect, hasn't been all that successful, hitting just 200 with an OPS of under 500 and just a 27 WRC+. So manager's actually done a pretty good job limiting him to just 30 at-bats against left-handed pitching this year. And as long as he keeps having that type of usage pattern, probably can get him close to 500 at-bats a year, primarily against right-handed pitching. And with his ratings profile, would expect him to be pretty productive with that type of usage. And at the end of the last episode, looked at who was available on the trade block, and also spent some time between the last episode and now shopping some of our players and exploring potential options if there are any of guys who aren't on the trade block. And honestly, I think it's going to be a relatively quiet next 10 days for us till we get to the trade deadline. There's not a ton of true impact players out there, and the impact players who are out there, the likes of Justin Martinez, are incredibly expensive right now for us to try to get. I'm going to continue exploring our options because we do have money, close to $10 million, to try to bring somebody on board. So we certainly could add a player or two. But we've got the best offense in the National League at this point. We've got the 6th best pitching staff in terms of runs allowed, which again, playing half our games in Colorado, that's a pretty solid result. And still some hope that with the return of the young, hopefully future star of our pitching staff, Leo Martinez, post the All-Star break. He did make one rehab start yesterday, 50 pitches in AAA, that perhaps our starting pitching will be a little better going forward. We did move our former number one starter, who was our number one starter until this season, Jesus Luzardo, into a long relief role. He's in a slump right now. I'm not going to say with certainty that he won't end up back in the rotation before the end of the year or come playoff time, because he still certainly has a solid profile. But after winning 17 games 2 straight years for us, had some injury issues at the start of this year, did a rehab assignment in AAA, and only 2-5 with an ERA of over 7 at the major league level. So clearly he was the guy to move into the pen for the time being. So we'll enjoy the All-Star break, hopefully be able to give our players a little bit of rest. Hopefully we'll have the pitching staff set up better than the real-life New York Yankees do, where we won't have to go with a bullpen game the first game out of the All-Star break, which is pretty pathetic for a team with the payroll and the history that the New York Yankees have. Just 6 games left after the All-Star break till we get to the trade deadline and the end of July, all on the road against NL East teams, 3 at Miami, followed by 3 at Philadelphia, and then an off day on Thursday the 31st, which will be the trade deadline. And we took 2 out of 3 in Miami coming out of the All-Star break. So as we sit here with just 3 games until the trade deadline, the Dodgers have won 4 in a row, so our lead on them actually down to just a game and a half. As I noted earlier, the Rockies and the Dodgers currently have the 2 best records in baseball. And the Phillies, who we will be playing next, have the 3rd best record in all of baseball. Gus Nieves continues on his quest to lead the league in homers and ribbies for a 3rd time in 4th seasons. And he actually also won the 2031 home run challenge against Ellie De La Cruz 21-20. So Nieves' strong start to his career continues. And I've spent a little more time offline looking at some of the options in the trade market, and I think we're going to be inclined to stand still with the likes of Ryan Stone and Kevin Roberts Jr. and Mr. Martinez having graduated to the majors over the last 10 or 11 months of real game time, not real lifetime. Our minor league system is now middle of the pack, ranking 17th out of 30th overall. But there are some guys in AAA that I think could be helping us if we need. Ted Miller, probably the most interesting hitting prospect, former second-round pick in 2027. The 22-year-old started the year at AA Hartford, where he hit .346 with 1 homer and 15 ribbies and 107 at-bats. He's been just as good. His WRC plus of 145, only slightly lower than what he had in AA at 147 since we promoted him to AAA, where he's hitting .325 with 9 doubles, a triple, and 6 homers and 151 at-bats. Still think he is a left-handed bat who could definitely be helping us in the not-too-distant future. And then Ian Miller is another guy who is not far off from being able to help us at the major leagues. I think the hope is that he becomes a solid back-of-the-rotation starter for us. 8th-round pick out of Auburn in 2028. 7-7 with a 4.81 ERA at AAA Albuquerque for us, but the PCL and Albuquerque are notoriously difficult places for pitchers, so even with those stats, he's put up a 2.6 WAR for us, 122 ERA plus, and a 78 FIP minus. Really like the personality, good stamina, decent at holding on runners, ground ball tendencies, does a nice job keeping the ball in the park. Still some work to do on his stuff and control, but when I look at the type of pitchers that we could pick up as far as insurance starter in case we have some injuries, the prices are high for what we'd be getting in return, and kind of feeling with Rock, Luzardo, and even Miller out of the rotation right now, and the other Mr. Miller in AAA, that if we do have some injuries to the starting rotation going forward, we probably have enough depth internally to handle them at this point. So I'd love to spend some money. We're a win-now team, would love to add a contract, but just don't see an impact player out there who's available. And even the guys who might help a little bit while not necessarily being impact players feel like the prices are just too high. And we do have some guys who aren't that far away in AAA from potentially being able to supplement our roster in September and earlier, potentially, if we do have some injuries. So unless something real crazy happens over these next 3 days at Philadelphia, say we go 0-3 and we lose a couple of players to significant injuries, probably going to be pretty quiet here at the trade deadline in 2031. And the bad news is we lost 2 out of 3 at Philadelphia to a team we could conceivably be facing in the playoffs. The good news is no significant injuries, no new injuries. But the Dodgers, with 6 in a row wins, now have tied us once again for the divisional title. So we're in a situation, as I've talked about, where if we don't win the division this year and get likely home field advantage throughout the playoffs, we're playing in a 3-game wild card series. So definitely a tenuous situation for us, and I'd love to add some talent. The Dodgers, of course, are absolutely loaded. 3rd highest budget in baseball, 1st highest player payroll, astronomical market size, extreme fan loyalty, and perfect fan interest. So financially, they are playing at a whole different level than we are, but we're keeping pace with them at this point, at least on the field. I'll still spend some time today offline exploring whether there might be an option for us in the trade market, but as much as it stinks to be tied for first now rather than having a little lead, I just don't know that realistically there's something that's going to be impactful enough that is available and that we can afford to do. And we've now passed the trade deadline, made it into the month of August, so obviously not going to be making any big deals this year. Start a homestand today against the Giants, 3 games against San Francisco, and then 2 games at home against the Dodgers, which could be very important as we try to hopefully ultimately position ourselves to win another division title. Looking forward, a lot of games against the Dodgers at the end of the year as well, 3 at home against them from September 22nd through the 24th. And then a road trip September 29th to October 1st, 3 games against the Dodgers. So 8 games left against our toughest divisional rival over these last couple months of the season. Right now we are half a game behind as they won yesterday when we did not play. And we swept the first 3 games of the month of July at home against the Giants. Sorry, Peter Hooper, but that puts us feeling a little better about ourselves as we get ready to start this series against the Dodgers. We've got a 1.5 game lead, 2 games against the Dodgers at home before we have an off day and then head back out on the road. So would love to win them both and expand the lead to 3.5, but really the only thing we don't want to do is lose them both. And unfortunately, we did the one thing that we really did not want to do, lose both games to the Dodgers, both 1-run losses, 6-5 at home. So road trip coming up now, 4 games at St. Louis, off day, then 3 at Pittsburgh before we're back home for 3 against the Marlins. And things have gone pretty well since the last time we checked in, although we lost the first game in St. Louis to extend our losing streak to 3. We won the final 3 there, so we took 3 out of 4 in St. Louis, took 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh, and then we took 2 out of 3 back home against Miami. So as we sit here on August 18th, we've got half a game lead on the Dodgers, and our Rockies and the Dodgers continue to be the top 2 teams in the National League and the top 2 teams in all of baseball. Nieves continuing to lead the league in homers with 36 and ribbies with 104. Second in the league with an OPS just over 1,000. Pitching-wise, Wellington Herrera, who led the league with 51 saves a year ago, making his way back up the list this year, now has 29 saves to rank 3rd in the senior circuit. And unfortunately, as we head into the final week of August, we had a pretty rough week at home, lost 4 out of 7 games to Seattle and the Giants, and the Dodgers, who have been surging 3 wins in a row, are now 2 games up on us in the division. So we've got the second best record in baseball at this point, but if we were to have the postseason start today, we'd be in a wild card series. Nieves continuing to lead the league in homers and ribbies, and he's got the batting average now up to 326, so outside chance of a triple crown for our all-star former MVP and former Rookie of the Year DH/right fielder. And although we lost 2 out of 3 against Arizona, we did win 3 on the road at San Diego to finish off the month of August. Certainly not our best month of the season. So as we sit here getting ready for September roster expansion, 2.5 games behind the Dodgers in the National League West, even though we've won 3 in a row. Our .609 winning percentage is easily the second best in baseball, and we've got a 12.5 game lead on the wild card race, so certainly feeling very good about our chances to make the playoffs. But as we've talked about many times over the past several episodes, seems like a situation where you either have the best record in the NL West and home field advantage throughout the playoffs, or if you finish in second, you've got to face a wild card series. And right now, unfortunately, we would be facing a wild card series. Couple quick things to go over before we finish up the episode. Next time around, we will have hopefully a relatively short episode where we'll just talk about what we did in September roster expansion, and then play through September into the beginning of October to find out whether we can get past the Dodgers in the division. But one big thing we're going to be focused on is not just whether Nieves can lead the league in both homers and ribbies for a third time in 4 major league seasons, but whether perhaps he can also get a triple crown, as his .330 batting average is now just 6 points behind Roberto Lemus of Cincinnati in the NL batting race. Lemus certainly looks like outstanding potential hitter. 22-year-old was a scouting discovery of theirs back in 2025, and he had a fantastic rookie season in 2030, and even better this year, hitting .336 with 32 homers and 103 ribbies. Already has 35 doubles, a ridiculous 175 WRC plus. So going to be difficult to get by him, but he's having a great year. Nieves now leads the league in OPS. Wellington Herrera has moved up to third in the league in saves. One good piece of news, Leo Martinez finally healthy and finally pitching regularly for us, and he was the National League Rookie of the Month for August. 5-1 record with a 2.95 ERA, so he was back and forth off and on the injured list and to rehab assignments in AAA through the first 3+ months of this season, but seems to be settling in at this point. 6-3 record with a 2.85 ERA on the season for the young Martinez, the 21-year-old who we expect to be a cornerstone of our pitching staff for the next decade and a half. And a quick look at our team statistics. Our 81-52 record is 2 above Pythagorean expectations, 14-10 in July and 17-11 in August. So even though we have given up the division lead to the Dodgers, it's not because we've been playing all that badly. The Dodgers, as you might expect for a team with their budget and their roster, have just been en fuego over these last couple of months to get past us in the standings. Still have the premier offense in the National League, first in runs scored, and you can see we are first, second, or third in every offensive category except for home runs, where we rank 6th. And thanks in no small part to Mr. Martinez, the pitching continues to improve. We're up to 4th in the National League in runs allowed. Bullpen ERA remains the best in the NL. Starters ERA has improved to 10th. We're actually not even in last in the league in terms of allowing walks anymore. And the defense is really good, 4th in defensive efficiency and 2nd in zone ratings. So definitely a bummer that we could end up in a wild card when all is said and done. But the team continues to play well. We just have a very talented and very well-funded team in our division in the Dodgers, and we'll see if we can get past them over the final month plus of the season in our next episode. As I mentioned, towards the end of the month, 3 at home against the Dodgers, and then 3 on the road against the Dodgers in the penultimate series of the regular season. So we've got 6 more shots at them before this season comes to an end. We're going to be bringing some reinforcements up onto the major league roster that can hopefully also help us in the next episode. So we will find out next time whether we are able to end up guiding the Rockies back to the best record in baseball and back to a division title, or will we have to go on a much harder path through the playoffs and begin as a wild card team. And we'll find out the answer to that. We'll find out the answer to whether Gus Nieves can win a Triple Crown. And I'm sure there will be a lot of other interesting questions for us to find out the answers to in our next episode. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day.